First of all, let me just address this real quick. For the record, as long as we are living and breathing and living under any dominion of the Creator, there will be rules, laws, and something to learn, okay? There will be something to discover, alright? I have addressed this before. I'm not sure if this is the same person or a different person. It feels like a different person. The Creator allowed me to sense and hear people saying like, damn, like, shit, like basically you're not running out of topics, like you have stuff to talk about, like ample topics and stuff like that. So yeah, the Creator is going to always give us something to learn and wonder and marvel at, okay? Everything is not for us to understand. We're not going to always get everything. So we have conversations, we do research, we use our intelligence and our spiritual gifts to figure things out, okay? Before we get into the topic, the Creator did tell me to look into the Rio de Janeiro Jesus statue being struck by lightning. Now what's crazy is, I know this is fairly old. It's actually like about a year old, okay? It happened on 2/23/2023. Now, if that within itself is not telling, if that is not something that should make us wonder, like, why that did, I mean, I have no words, okay? I have no other words, alright? But I did look up the coordinates. The coordinates are 22.9068 south, 43.1729 west. Now, you can do whatever it is that you want with those numbers. Of course, we know that numbers is the universal language, right? It is how the universe creates, and it is how the universe communicates, okay? Now, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'm saying it because the Creator told me to. He said that temperature and time makes a big, major difference. I have no idea. I don't believe it has anything to do with what we're talking about, what we're going to be discussing in a moment, but yeah, temperature and time. I don't know if he was telling me to add that to the comparisons and what it is. Well, I'm sorry, if this is your first time tuning in, then hi, welcome. I would have you know that we discuss everything from spirituality to religion, right? So, yes, I also got wind of people saying, like, I'm all over the place. Well, spirituality is all over the place, right? It's not straight to the point. It's very complex, and it is layered of many different compartments and components that no one person gets in its entirety, right? No one understands this spiritual, religious, scientific, psychological, social, diabolical world that we live in, right? Political and alien-like as well, okay? So we like to blend all of those topics together and just bring it back around to spirituality to build the bridge, right? Make the connection. So, like I said, do whatever you want with those numbers. You can always look up the coordinates for Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And yes, time and temperature is a factor. So, you already know how we like to blend things together here and just make the connection, right? So, the Creator, how shape-shifting is going to be important for us. It's going to be, especially if it is a skill that would behoove you to practice and to also use your skills for good. Like I said yesterday, if you're using your gifts for bad, I really don't have any advice for you but to go to the Creator. That's all I can tell you. I don't have anything else to say. Alright? A lot of us are going to be in environments where it's going to be kind of hard to stay balanced in the beginning. Of course, God got you, right? God has your back. But the thing is, with all of these portals opening and closing, before we get to stabilize everything, it's going to be this fight it's going to be different fights going on, right? So the people who are attempting to raise their vibration, that are fighting for their lives, the people who are fighting to hold you back, to keep you back, the people that are fighting to maintain and keep the vibration lifted and keep rising it, and then the people who are above all of that and they're aware of all of that and they're going to be able to manipulate, okay? Now, the reason why this is important because your relationship with the Creator is going to depend on your ability and your moments when you're shape-shifting, because all that means is that you are in defense mode, right? Or offense, depending on the situation, the circumstances, and the environment. Why this is important? Because a lot of this stuff that we're going to be going into, you have to be able to learn if the intel, the information, the messages that you're getting is authentic or not. Okay, it's gone beyond people sitting around doing rituals and sending you spells and magic and doing voodoo and black, witchcraft on you. This is a political strategy. Okay, so this goes beyond the little man, the people up the road, the people at the church, the people in the cult. This is a worldwide attempt to spiritually, mentally, and emotionally manipulate people, simply because the powers that be are aware of the vibration being lifted. So you have to have this relationship with the Creator that is so dope that your discernment is intact, because the authenticity of what it is that you are encountering and learning and taking in is going to be at question. And this is not to say, God is doing this and God is doing that. Like, no. God is sitting back, letting these last little few things pile up so he can have a real reason to shake shit up. I'm just saying, like, that's what this is. Don't be alarmed. Don't be scared. Like we talked about, I believe yesterday or the day before, there's going to be a great divide. There's going to be a great distinction as time goes on. As time is going on and you become spiritually immune and you become spiritually enlightened and your discernment is increased and you become more observant and more educated, because all of those things are different, more aware and more conscious, you will be able to see the distinction before it physically happens. Remember, we talked about that. Looking at people and being able to identify them as God's people or as some imposter, some shapeshifter, right? You have to know when people that are God's people are shapeshifting for the right reasons or if they're just simply under demonic attack and possession. These are all different facets. And actually the topic was supposed to be about something else, but the Creator wants to elaborate on shapeshifting because I also made a wrong statement and he corrected me and I didn't come back on until weeks later, saying how Jesus was actually a shapeshifter. I only focused on the negative aspects of shapeshifting. I didn't go into great detail on what all shapeshifting entails. And most people who have spiritual gifts, remember Jesus was the only man to possess all of the gifts that God would ever give a human, right? Because Jesus possessed an immense amount of gifts, I like to refer to him because he was like superhuman, right? He was a human that basically did things that no other human had done ever, right? Being perfect, being able to do all these miraculous things, whatever verbiage you want to put on it, if I'm talking or sounding too Christian for you, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to use words that are recognizable to my likely audience, okay? But the gist here of this conversation is to keep in mind that you come from a system that is comprised of so many different frequencies and vibrations that you don't understand. We have to be dumbed down to be in this vibration, to be in this environment. Actually, if you go to some other dimensions, you can't even be in that space. Your body is not vibrating on the right frequency. I mean, whether it's too high or too low, your frequency has to be compatible with that of the environment that you are in. So this is why shape-shifting is important. God will send people on missions and allow them to have the gift of shape-shifting to complete certain tasks and missions. And it's not up to us who gets what gifts and why. God knows why he does what it is that he does. A lot of the things that allow us to have this understanding of who we are as a people comes from our ability to sift out the frequency that we're currently dwelling in, right? So this all goes back to shape-shifting, and the creator just wanted to make it clear that your ability to shapeshift is going to be necessary right now. In fact, you're not even going to want to do that, but in order for you to not only survive, but complete certain missions and tasks that he's sending you on, to take away certain energy and drop off certain energy in these environments, to have a better understanding of the environment that you are dwelling in, shape-shifting is going to be very important. And if you have been given the gift of shape-shifting, please use it wisely. Don't just go out trying to fit in with people or trying to, adjust your energy or calibrate energy or transmute energy when it doesn't need to be, okay? It's absolutely okay to have the understanding that you are operating on your own frequency, and when it is necessary and required, you shift and do the transition as you see fit. But yeah, don't be alarmed by your own use of your gifts. Ask the creator if that was him. Make sure there's no entities trying to body swap or body jump or hijack you or anything like that. But yeah, don't be alarmed by your gifts. Sometimes they're just going to come out of nowhere, and that is your ancestors just jumping in. Alright, but I'm going to end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all been drinking your water. I hope y'all been eating your fruit and vegetables and sipping on your own tea because it is free. And I hope y'all are enjoying y'all weekend. And I'm going to get up out of here. Alright, love y'all. Peace.